Welcome back, everybody. In this video, we're going to look at how to delete rows from a table view. In the last video, we saw how to add rows to a table view, and we did it using a UI alert. This time, we're going to do some deletion. Now, just to take a very quick recap, I want to show you something we did in the last couple of videos. I control dragged from the table view up to the view controller, who's the parent. And we talked all about what the data source was. The data source said, for this table view, where is the controller for the data? And we decided that our view controller would be our data source. Well, other than a data source, a table view also needs a delegate, something to act on its behalf when things are happening to the table. Things such as a request to delete a row or other things like that. So for us to implement deletion, we must make sure that we set up the delegate. So let me do that again. I'm going to control click on my table view and go up to my view controller. Sorry. Oops. I'm going to select it first, and I'm going to go up here. And I'm going to say this is now my delegate. So in general, whenever my table view has anything to get done, it's going to ask its parent or the view controller. And you'll see over here that our delegate is now associated to the table view, and it's going to refer to the view controller. So, when we have a table view, it doesn't have a lot of logic built in, so it needs help with its data. That's the data source, and it needs help with doing changes, and that's the delegate. So now that we've told the table view that it's going to use the view controller as the delegate, we better go and implement that in the view controller. So if we go back to the view controller, the first thing we have to do is make sure the view controller knows that it's somebody's delegate. So not only is the view controller a sub-view of UI view controller, and not only is it implementing the table view data source, but now it also implements what? The UI table view delegate. So this view controller now has quite a few roles. It's a sub-view of something, plus it implements two other delegates. Two other protocols. So notice we didn't get an error this time when we added the delegate. That's because some protocols don't require anything to be done. In our case, we want to override one of the protocol's methods, but like we see, we don't have to. So what we want to do is make sure that this view controller can delete rows. So we're going to go down here, and like you know, I like to make extensions to keep my code nice and clean. So I'm going to make a little comment here, and I'm going to say this is my delegate methods. Now, we're going to make this into an extension of our view controller. Remember, that's nothing more than just breaking things up into nice compartmentalized places. I know a lot of the protocol methods that need to be implemented, but that's just experience. You'll get the experience the more you practice. The one I'm going to implement is called commit editing style. This method will get called whenever anything happens to the table, like a request for a delete, a request for an edit, and things of that nature. So right now I only care about whether or not this was a delete. So I'm going to put in an if, and I'm going to ask if the editing style is equal to .delete. If that's the case, I have two things to do. I have to delete a row of data from my array or from my model. And I have to make sure that row is no longer seen in the table view, so I have to reload the table view. So let me do those two steps. The first step is I'll remove the row from the model. So we'll say self dot the to-do list dot remove at. Well, we're going to remove which row? Well, if you look at this method, you'll see that we were given an index path for which row was selected. So we're going to use the index path. But remember, an index path has two things in it. It has the section and the row, so we want the row. So we've now gotten rid of the data from the model, but we haven't reflected that on the screen. So we have to make sure that we tell the table view that it's time to reload the model. So we're going to do self dot table view dot reload data. And there we go, that's all we have to do, and we'll be able to delete rows, so let's try that out. So let's run this. It'll just take a moment for the simulator to get running. Just let me remind you that I can now add rows, so I'm going to say this is a delete test. So, not a elite test, but a delete test. Okay, so let's say we want to delete. Well, we have to know how an iPhone works, and the way it works is you swipe. And when you swipe, you get the delete. You click the delete, and boom, there you go. It nicely deletes. And we can delete all the rows. So there we have it. That's all we need to do to delete rows from a table view. See you in the next video. Thanks for watching.